back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. And once again, it is the Barnes and Tony Show. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing great. Welcome back to you, Brian. Good to be back. Tuesday. Let's go, dude. Big day, big week. Sports coming at you, dude. Baseball around the corner. I know you're hyped, Brian.
I am so riled, and I didn't even one of these things you know about, the other you don't. Today is going to be pretty awesome for me. Like, full work day after this. There's a lot to do. Going to try to hit the gym. But after that, we have no golf, but did play yesterday. Did get a 9 yesterday. Yes.
Oh my God, Brian.
Quick 9. Pooch just hit me up.
Would you shoot like a 32?
Nah, 48. But you know what? It not optimal conditions just yet. I'll take it.
Right.
Just kind of warming up. But,
yeah, wasn't it kind of rainy?
Just avoided that. It started to rain after. Went through so quick. Of course, it cleared out. I think it was an hour and 10 minutes. We got 9 holes in. I mean, that's
sick. Dude.
That's lightning. Lightning. And then so the reason why today is awesome is 7:30, and I've already had a couple already, but this is my last one. Fantasy baseball draft. So we're all about that. Downloaded and bought the show yesterday. Haven't played it, but it's fully downloaded, so I can kind of do that at the same time. And then obviously the Rangers are on tonight, right? Or no?
That's correct, dude.
Okay, so so we got all of that going on. So we're obviously just completely stoked about that. I'm so riled to play the show, so riled for the updated rosters. So that is of course going to be awesome. And then a little update on what we were talking about yesterday. My friends, from Canada, we were talking about Terry and Mike. Terry was texting me yesterday. In the works about that trip to the Rogers Center, talking to his boss and stuff. So we are so amped up for that. There's nothing like baseball. And then I kind of got a game plan together for Thursday for opening day. Was talking to Pooch yesterday. So pretty much going to do a little tailgate in the parking lot, probably around 10. So, get a couple hours of tailgating in, taking maybe a 9 o'clock train on Thursday, get a couple hours in, head into the stadium, maybe Billy's or Stan's if there's time.
Very nice.
And we're going pinstripe pass. Which is kind of nice too. I like, being able to kind of walk around and you can get a pretty good view. And I just feel like too, when you have games that are, a little higher priced, when you're playing, you're in the outfield, you're on the second level, you're paying $150, or you could stand and be field level and it's like $60. I mean, and get a free beer on top of it. That's the way to go, Tony.
That does sound like pretty solid work right
but
there.
I can't wait. And I'm really, I was just kind of, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I am really ready to take my Yankee Stadium vlogs to the next level this year. There's obviously always checking in, and then a little at Billy's and then a little recap after, but I'm really trying to expand upon it, Tony.
What are you thinking? You have any ideas right now?
Just kind of more videos, more breakdowns, more footage. So I really want to get some shots, of the parking lot. And I probably
of the parking lot.
No, of the tailgate. That's
tailgate.
what I meant. But maybe the train too, maybe a GoPro, honestly. But the only problem is they probably wouldn't let you bring that to the stadium, right?
I'm trying to think because when we went to Yankee Stadium, they didn't allow any cameras. But I feel like GoPro in the pocket. What are they going to do?
Yeah,
like they can't really do much.
But it's tough if they say no
and then confiscate it.
But so we're taking the train, but we're going with Pooch's uncle and a couple of his friends, so they're driving. So I could always just bring the GoPro for the parking lot. But also I need a GoPro. I don't have one.
We can give you our GoPro.
Oh, all right. So we'll talk with Michael about that one.
GoPro's a good camera for you, I think, because it's pretty very durable.
Yeah. Yeah. But honestly, I am jacked up. And you know who else is excited is
Your
Matthew
mom?
and my mother.
Oh, yes, Matthew. Early and often, just like Matthew. Let's go, boys, he says. And then Donna Barnaby says, go Yankees. And then she says, waiting for my invite, Brian.
Hey, we went to a nice Yankee Red Sox game last year, Mom. We'll definitely catch another one again. And we know Chokery is ready to join us as well. So we'll just have to get Jennifer and Samantha on board for that one. But maybe some Arthur Ave before can kind of, sway them into that, Tony. I mean, you think so? I mean,
do they need the convincing?
Well, I mean, just think about, listen, I mean, not to say that they mind it that much. And obviously it's about, the social aspect of it. But if you're comparing how much me and Chokery enjoy being at the game, and my dad and my mom, mom's really into it, but Jennifer and Sam, we're working on it. But I have to give Jennifer credit. Growing up, she was actually one of my assistant coaches in Little League.
Are you serious?
Keeping the scorebook. Her and Stacy, they both did it. My other sister. So I appreciate that. They were at a lot of games. So you really, really appreciate that. And then Matthew coming in hot says, Brian, invite your mother.
Oh, God.
And your mother.
Speaking of mothers, dude, my mother comes in with a good morning. I'm sure my mother, if she heard me talking about going to a Met game, she'd probably be saying the same thing, dude.
And has she been to Yankee Stadium?
My mother, the new Yankee Stadium? I don't think so, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Is she like kind of like me with the Mets with the Yankees, or not quite like that?
No, she doesn't hate the Yankees or anything.
Well, who said I hated the Mets?
Yeah.
Wow. A little tight. My mom also says fun days. It's like and then Matthew says it's like a little league. Look at the mothers. But in all seriousness, because I know we're having a good time here, I really do appreciate your mother, my mother, Matthew. I mean, they're here.
Matthew's mother.
Matthew's mother. They're in here day in, day out, and it really just makes everything so much fun. And this is really the best. And she says, no Yankee Stadium. I would go see the Mets there.
Subway Series.
Yeah.
Book it, Mom.
And Tony, one thing I do have to give you credit for too is you were a good sport for my birthday last year at Yankee Stadium. And I feel like you handled it better than I would at Citi Field, I think. Honestly.
You think so? I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, that was a great game just in general.
Right.
Rizzo.
Yeah. It really
dude,
was. So I honestly forgot that Rizzo walked it off. Before you said that.
It was so crazy, dude. And we had it was great seating. I think everyone around us was pretty chill. For the most part, everyone just kind of kept to themselves. We had a good time. People were celebrating the big W. We got the good food, the drinks. It was just, your house beforehand.
Oh, yeah. The pong.
The pong, the pizza, dude. The mozzarella sticks. Like, it was just a great time overall. How could you not be, in good spirits there? And I'm sure with us at Citi Field, you'll be having a good time, dude.
Yeah, you know what it is? Because I think you honestly, you did not like how you would be for a Mets win or anything, but you did get a little jacked up about the walk-off. So that's kind of more what I was giving you credit for. Like, it would be tough for me to be that excited about it. You know what I mean? And not to be hating, but just being real. But wow, we have a lot of comments.
We got a few comments here to get through. I'll start with Matthew here. As we're on the topic, he says, no, Tony, you definitely handled it 1,000 times better compared to Barnes at Citi. No comparison. Barnes would have lost his mind. Get thrown in the pinna, he says. And then he says, been to a game with my mother just one time ever, 2014 random game. Her and my sisters just wanted to go see Jeter one more time.
I do remember that.
Always a great time. And then your mother says that they need a mother's trip.
Well, that would be something. That we would need a GoPro for that one.
For sure, dude.
Oh man, but it just shows just how fun going to a game is, and that's why it's almost tough for me in a sense to relate to people who don't see the value in that. Honestly, I really they're like, oh, I don't know. I'm tired. I don't want to go. Like, what? There is nothing better than the ballpark experience. I don't care basketball, football. No, there is nothing like going to a baseball game.
Yes, there is nothing like, speaking of which, my mother said she would be excited if she was with us. Matt says, yeah, we got to film the mother's trip. My mother asking you if you've been to Citi Field, Brian, which you have.
Yep, a couple times.
Honestly, though, it's a good stadium. What's the problem with it?
Well, the one thing we talk about relatability, and I think it was what comes to mind first is like about how you and Mike went, and he was saying like he didn't like Yankee Stadium as much because there wasn't as much like bar access. You know what I mean? So I guess just from that angle, and I know you're the same way too. Like you're at a game. I mean, I know you'll go to the bar, but obviously you'd rather be in your seat,
right,
absorbing the game.
No, yeah, of course.
Like I understand, that aspect of it. I guess it's like, and I'm really not even trying to be biased or anything. I guess it's like, maybe it's just not, I don't even have it in me. But it's just like, I just can't, I can't get there with Citi Field. And I guess I really don't understand what people are talking about when they're just talking about like a better ballpark. I really don't. But then again, I think what it is, and it kind of relating to what you said, about or what I said anyway about what, like how Mike likes Citi Field and stuff. It's just like when I'm there, I'm not thinking about like walking around. I'm thinking about in my seat, locked in every pitch. I'm not thinking about how easy it is to go get a beer. You know what I mean? Like I'll get a beer, but it's like, you know what I mean? I want to watch the game.
Yeah.
But I am just riled. And I would say too, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I think too, I had the Shake Shack at Citi Field before, and I just thought it was terrible, honestly.
Really?
Like, but then again, like Yankee Stadium, used to have.
I'm trying to think of what we ate there. I definitely got a dog. I remember that.
I know I've gotten a sausage and peppers, but I feel like, it's kind of hard to mess up a sausage and peppers, but I got Shake Shack, and it's like, what I was saying is at Yankee Stadium, they used to have Johnny Rockets.
That's great, dude.
I love Johnny Rockets, but it was the same thing where because it's mass produced and it's at a stadium, not as good.
No, yeah, of course not. They don't have Johnny Rockets anymore?
No, they have some other burger thing. They kind of mix things up a lot. So me at a ball game, I mean, I'm pretty much sausage and peppers or chicken tenders, which are, always typically good. And I did get hibachi a couple times there last year from Benihana, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that this season, Tony.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But honestly, for all of that being said, it wasn't bad for ballpark hibachi. That's all I'm going to say. Filet mignon steak sandwiches. Where do they have that?
I've Citi Field. I've talked to you about these. Remember, it was best steak and cheese sandwich I've ever had.
Okay, yeah. I think we probably just haven't talked about it in a while.
Yeah, probably not. But the filet mignon, the peppers, the onions, the cheese, dude. Oh,
no, there really is nothing
so
like
good.
A good steak sandwich, a good steak and cheese. But are you onions, peppers, mushrooms, or it's
no
too
mushrooms.
much for it? Okay, onions, peppers.
Yeah, I love onions and
I wasn't
peppers.
sure, the topping rules, Tony.
Dude, there's no rules to toppings. But I'm telling you, like I mean, I'm a big peppers and onions type of guy. I mean, they add so much flavor and it's delicious, dude. I love peppers, onions with anything, really. Dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh, such a good combo, dude.
It really is so good. I'm just kind of curious too. What is your like realistic target goal games this year?
I mean, realistic. I mean, I feel like this year, I mean, I'm never gonna have more time in the summer because I won't be, teaching or coaching
or church.
I think I think one game a month. Let's try to get in.
There we go. Wow. Right? Yeah. No, because and we talk about footage, and especially if everyone's going to be there, and especially if we drive somewhere, then we can, bring extra camera. I mean, we can get a really good, the pig skin in the parking lot, Tony.
Dude, I'm not talking. I'm like one game a month, either Yankees or Mets. Dude.
Right,
I don't care.
Right, exactly. And my mother says that we're making everyone hungry,
dude.
I mean, I'm getting hungry myself, honestly.
I know, me too, dude. Steak and cheese sounds really good right now.
Oh, man. And would you rather have like just a grinder roll or garlic bread with the steak and cheese?
I mean, I don't know if it's like New York bread here, I'm getting just a regular, like a hero roll. Yeah. Hero, definitely.
And I'm sure you can imagine this when me and Matt lived together senior year at Eastern. We used to have the George Foreman, and we would go filet tip Sundays, make the homemade, steak grinders. Dude. I forgot the name of that. It's like Casilio. I'm not saying it right, but like they make those like grinder rolls, like they're all in all the grocery stores. Starts with a C. I'm pronouncing it wrong, but toast those up. The cheese, the onions, caramelized or regular onions.
Warm it up, toast it up,
caramelized.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
I can do raw onion too. I don't care, but caramelized.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
And then I've also mentioned this before too. He's been there since I've been going, since the old Yankee Stadium. Honestly, the guy you walk, we probably passed him actually. I might even have gotten a sausage. I don't even remember. But right when you get off the train at Yankee Stadium, that guy, the sausage there. Unbelievable. The onions, the peppers, the rolls. You can get hot Italian. You can get sweet sausage. Unbelievable, Tony.
That is.
Do you remember seeing him set up like a premium card? Yeah, great guy. Matt knows him well too.
Oh wow, I bet.
And then obviously we'll have to do an Arthur Ave tie because you still haven't been there, right?
I've been there when I was like younger.
Okay,
and stuff,
been a long time.
Yeah, dude, at least a decade.
So we'll have to do that, and it works out so well too. I mean, tell me this isn't a perfect day. Get there early, little tailgate, get our GoPros going, maybe even a 2-on-2 football game in the parking lot. We'll have to talk about that. Go to the game, Tony, and then afterwards, Arthur Ave. Are you kidding?
That sounds perfect, dude.
Book it right now.
Let's go. Opening day. I'll come with you. Let's go.
And then kind of to finish up this warm-up portion, one thing I wanted to talk to you about.
Warm-up portion.
It's been a while. We haven't talked fitness in a long time. Remember we had like a little run, me, you, and Mike. We're talking sauna and stuff. So
what do you got, dude?
So I haven't, I've been doing my, basketball, and cardio, elliptical at the gym, but it's been a while, and I'm always, and I know everybody feels the same. And I was texting Matt about this last night, but so I haven't really been lifting. So I finally got back at it yesterday after golf. So did kind of like a double duty, the 9 holes, and then went to go lift.
Nice.
And did arms, felt really good. Did some abs too, but the soreness is just so, I hate that period of time when you don't lift for a while. Yeah. It's like, lasts for days and it takes at least a week, if not longer. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I haven't been at the gym in a while either, so I'm excited to get back at it too.
Are you gonna go?
Go
ahead.
No, I'm gonna go like more weightlifting, like.
Versus you were doing a lot of cardio before, or?
Last I've been there, like Michael was starting to gear towards a lot more stretching and cardio sort of stuff. But we were lifting pretty consistently back then. But I run a lot of rugby practice, and that gets you so like, oh my god, dude. And yeah, but yeah, dude, I'm excited to start lifting again and get in the sauna. Honestly, it's probably what I missed the most. Really,
last sauna trip. When was it?
I mean, it must have been maybe like at the end of the fall.
Wow.
Because after the fall season, I had a little run of gym. But then, obviously, like started having later nights, teaching, later nights, the games, and the rugby started up again. So yeah, probably just the fall, late fall.
Wow, that is a
while.
Are you gonna go back to your mornings? Or are you thinking like middle of the day, late afternoon?
I'll probably still the mornings.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know. I may not like get up as early as Mike does. He gets up at like 3 a.m.
No, I swear to God. Renee too, or she's sometimes or okay.
As far as I know.
The two of them, and I know Matt gets up early too, but them with the 3 a.m. I mean, I have never seen anything like it. You want to talk about dedication? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no,
that's
it
like
really
a
is.
Machine. And I feel like too, I know he goes to bed early, like a decent amount, but sometimes doesn't he like go to bed at like 11 and he's getting up at 3?
Yeah. I mean, some of those Monday gaming corner nights when we're leaving here at like 9:30, 10. I mean, he's still getting up.
I just like 6 o'clock is early. Like 3. I don't know, Tony. Were you getting up at 3 or were you going like kind of meeting him there maybe a little later?
No, I was getting up at that time for some time.
I remember looking at you over there. It really is tough. But yeah, there's so much excited, so much stuff coming up because obviously opening day. And then Gaming Corner Monday is going to be great. And Matthew better be there. I'm sure he wants to play the new version of the show.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
I can only imagine that. So like just all good stuff, no matter how you want to slice it up. But I think it's a good time now if we could go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot.
Big hit on the far side by Makar! That was Jordan Stahl. Oh, my goodness. That's the top right back. Terrifying and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliant from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
All right here. So just gotta come on over to some hockey now. Finally, we're done with all the nonsense talk that Brian's got. Let's get to the sports, the nitty gritty of the show. A lot of hockey games last night. When Brian gets back, we'll talk about kind of our pick segment and everything like that. And I'm pretty sure we both had kind of a piss poor showing. But like I said, a lot of games to recap last night. Probably one of the ones that I did want to recap here. First is going to be the Sabres game as the Montreal Canadiens beat the Sabres in a shootout 4-3. And with that loss from the Sabres, the Rangers are able to clinch their playoff spot. Now they're guaranteed to having a showing in the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs. So we're that much closer to hoisting the cup here. Obviously, we knew the Rangers were going to have a spot in the playoffs. But obviously this is now like solidified. They can, lose every game after this and still be in the playoffs. Not that they're going to do that anyway, but obviously, big news for them. And just really a tough loss, I think, in general there for the Sabres. A team that I picked to win this game, a team that lost to Montreal. Brian thinks St. Louis is not coming back. We don't know. High pressure situation next season, but he does have a lot of talent. Michael Pezzetta being one of them who scored the shootout winning goal for Buffalo. And I was wondering who, you got Jake Allen in between the pipes there for the Canadiens, who is not good. So, for them to kind of win this game is pretty solid. I think Sam Montembeault is their other Montembeault, dude. He's just a great goaltender, young too. So I think he's gonna have a bright future as Jake Allen just sucks, I think, at this point. But that's just me. You had a couple other goals. One from Gallagher, who's like your bread and butter guy. Defenseman Harris is on a goal as well. Looking at just Buffalo right here. Obviously, only a couple goals, not much to show for it. Skinner was nowhere. Tuck had an assist with 6 shots on goal. Akaposo, absolutely dead in the water here. Just looking for Tage Thompson, because Tage Thompson was not playing actually last night. Not 100% sure why. At this point, I think Buffalo is a team that's not going to make the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe they're just kind of like letting them chill or letting them rest, whatever. Owen Power, rookie defenseman, had an assist, so he's going to have a nice future to the team. But, obviously not really a heavy game in terms of their fates for this season. But getting the Rangers the clinch for the playoffs, you'll love to see that, Brian. And yeah, we had a few other games around the league as well. Senators beat the Panthers. I believe the Brian over there picked the Panthers.
Yeah. I still went 2-1. You went 1-2. So.
Really? Sens beat the Panthers 5-2. Islanders beat the Devils 5-1. You the Islanders, right?
I had the Islanders, and actually, I was telling you that Stacks was at the game or no?
Yes.
Okay,
you did tell me that.
So he's all pumped, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Islanders are gonna be tough." Never texted me back, and I texted it right at puck drop. I said, because I knew it. I knew it was happening. Dude. They clinched the playoff spot. Like, you're telling me they're gonna be playing balls to the walls? Like, no way. Yeah,
balls to the walls, dude. Yeah, no. That was definitely a good pick there. Wild beat the Kraken here 5-1. Dominant victory over the Kraken. Did not really expect that. Speaking of 5-1, the Avalanche beat the Ducks 5-1. Also, the Islanders did beat the Devils 5-1. I don't know if I said that too.
Yeah.
So, night of 5-1, and then the Oilers squeak by
McDavid. First one to have 140 points since 1996.
5-4, they win.
1996, Tony. Long
Gretzky?
time.
No, it wouldn't be Gretzky in that year. Mario Lemieux?
Probably. I would think it would be Mario, honestly. But that's obviously an accomplishment, and it's just interesting to see. The top is still jumbled up here, so there's opportunity for movement. You have literally Los Angeles, Minnesota, Colorado, and Edmonton all separated by 3 points top to bottom. So right now, if the season were to end, these would be the playoff matchups. So you have Vegas playing Winnipeg, the Kings playing the Kraken, the Wild playing the Stars, and then last year's Western Conference Finals, Edmonton and Colorado, and in Colorado having that home ice. But with only 2 points, behind Los Angeles, Colorado with a big opportunity to move up. I mean, obviously they like now that they have the home ice, in the first round, but I'm sure they would love to avoid playing Edmonton in the first round. Not that they can't beat them, but I mean, I think, even if you do win that series, I mean, that's a series that obviously is going to wear you down come first round of the playoffs.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're Edmonton or really LA, I think at that point. But I don't know. I feel like LA can hold it out, or if you're, even against Colorado too. I mean, I feel like they have good chances, regardless. Underestimated team, youth, speed, skill, veteran status too. We talked about Phoenix Copley too. He's been a great goaltender for LA. So
Kopitar. We don't even have that one anymore.
No, that one I think we do have.
Kopitar, Tony. All right.
Yeah, we got that.
Just wanted to make sure about that. And then what do you think? So I would imagine you're gonna say Vegas and Winnipeg. That Vegas wouldn't have too much trouble. That's like a 5-game series if you had to put a number on it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if push comes to shove there, I think Vegas wins it. I can see Winnipeg giving them some issues. We've seen Vegas kind of, fumble some games a little bit this season, I feel. Of course, it's kind of tough to root against them now because they've been in such, they've just really dialed it in. So, I'm going to go with a pretty easy win. Let's say that, sure.
So tough, and then, you have Seattle and the Kings. And that this one's kind of interesting because I know how much you like the Kings, but then again, I feel like you respect how Seattle's played this year.
Yeah. I mean, you really have to, especially as one of the newer teams in the league. I think they were kind of held to a certain standard because of the Knights that had just come into the league before them. Inaugural season going to the Cup final. People were kind of expecting the Kraken to have that as well. And here they are. I want to say third season in the league.
No, second.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy that the first game, Chris Fowler
seems so
on the
long
pregame.
ago,
yeah, the expansion draft.
Wow, dude. So I would think second year in the league. I mean, you got to respect what they're doing right now. And like I said, I understand it could maybe be an early exit for them. But Stanley Cup playoffs, I mean, you never really know who can rise to the occasion. So you got to respect their game.
Yeah, absolutely. And and then looking elsewhere here, you got Dallas and Minnesota. I know you kind of, thought, Dallas was a pretty good team, and Minnesota seems to be really hot lately, 7-1-2. Do you think that's a close series, or just the way that Minnesota is playing? And even when Gustafsson is in net, it seems
I know
like
he's
they're
been
playing
so
well.
Good. I think it'll be close, but I would take Dallas in that series.
Really?
I really would.
And Robertson, he's the best player?
Robertson. And then you have Tyler Seguin too, who's like a veteran player, has been in the playoffs before. Obviously, the Wild also have some veteran players of their own, but I just think Dallas could beat them a little bit more with some speed.
Yeah. And then Edmonton and Colorado, you think that's close? I know obviously you're not a big Edmonton guy and realize the talent in Colorado. I mean, what do you think there? I mean, they had him last year. Do they have him again?
Yeah, I do think so. And I think what you saw last year, I mean, that was the Western Conference final. Edmonton, Colorado last season, and it seemed like every game was a shootout. It was like 6-5, 5-4 these games. I think the one reason that's going to kind of tilt the pendulum Colorado's way is going to be Alexander Georgiev. He's going to have some dialed in games where maybe McDavid has a goal, but I mean, that's that, so I think I would give him Colorado there.
And then, some fascinating series here in the Eastern Conference. The 1-8, Boston, Pittsburgh. And I understand, Pittsburgh isn't at the top of the conference here and, was out of the playoff picture before their recent run, that they've had here. Now, do you see any type of, chance they make that somewhat interesting, or is that your 4 or 5 game series?
I mean, I think they will. I think, Pittsburgh is a team, excuse me. I mean, we saw it last season too. They're a team that could make almost any series interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Albeit it's going to be very difficult against the Bruins. But I mean, when you look at it, I mean, Crosby, Malkin, Gensel, Raquel has been having a good season too.
Letang,
is going to be solid on defense. If their goaltender is healthy, Jari can really, I guess, lock down, the net. It's going to be tough. I mean, I would say the one biggest thing that Boston probably has is their physicality. Again, like Letang is a good physical defenseman. We know how big of a body Malkin is, but I wouldn't be surprised if that series were to go to 7. But I still think to give me Boston.
And speaking of, and I definitely agree with you there, but like you said, it could be similar to the Rangers Penguins series from last season. Carolina with the Islanders, talk about going 7. The way that the Islanders have played, and I think the injury to Sevy, really gave the Islanders a chance here. Without that, I think it would be tough. I do give Carolina the edge, but I do think there's something to be said about the hot team riding into the Stanley Cup playoffs. I really think that's going to be a 7-game series as well.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree there. I mean, and when you look at Carolina, they just lost to the Bruins in a shootout. Probably had a really good game. They had a good game against them, keeping up with them. But the loss to the Rangers, they beat the Rangers. So I don't know. I feel like the Hurricanes kind of has some good momentum going into the playoffs as well. It's going to be tough, I think, to get past Islanders goaltending. I think it's going to be a huge key for the Islanders if they want to stay in the series with the Hurricanes. Even though Svechnikov is out, I mean, again, we know the talent that Hurricanes have, and they also have the ability to have a lockdown defensive stout. So it's like, the Islanders could find it tough to score. I think you're going to see a lot of 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 games in that series. And because of those, but because those games are so close, it could really go either way. So Islanders upset. I mean, I don't know. I'd be sweating a little bit if I was chokery right now.
And speaking of sweating, and I think they will be okay, but he'll have to sweat it. I mean, I definitely agree with you there. I do think the Lightning are going to beat the Devils in the first round of the playoffs, and I understand the Lightning, another year older. These long playoff runs they've been on the last few seasons, but I just think as good of a season as the Devils have had, there's a difference between being a regular season team and a playoff team. And we've seen, it's been very evident over the past couple of years, the Lightning are clearly a playoff team. We saw obviously what a tough time the Rangers ended up having with them last year. And I think it's just a big ask to ask, Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, home ice or not, to take down a team as experienced as the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we said it earlier in the season when the Devils were going on a run. It seemed like they were going to be making a push to the playoffs. The one thing they don't have in the playoffs is experience. And, ironically enough, they're going to be playing the most, experienced team. It's tough. And, on top of that, you have someone on the Lightning like Kucherov. I think he has over 100 points in the season.
Unbelievable season.
Stamkos has got to be up there in the 70s
Braden
too.
Point's having year.
So the Lightning have so much talent. Again, the one thing the Devils probably have on them is their speed and the fact that they're going to have certainly fresher legs out there, I would imagine. So I don't know. And I think, Vasilevsky, who's, I don't know, posted, he doesn't have terrible numbers. I think, what are they, like 31-20 is his record with the team. So, I mean, he kind of has, I think, more losses than he usually would have. So I don't know. I mean, again, the Devils are a more skilled team, but the only way the Lightning could win is from experience. But I would say, Brian, to give me the Devils here, they have an edge to them. They have some players who just know, and I feel like they think it's their time. So I would say give me the Devils in that series.
I for some reason I just feel like they remind me of Florida from last year. Such a good regular season, and then playoff time might find a little trouble. I think that will be a good series though, regardless. And I could definitely see it going 7. And then obviously only other series right now that's lined up, would be the Rangers and the Maple Leafs. And of course, we've already talked about this. 1 point separating the two. Right now, the Rangers the 5 seed. And it really just seems like a crime that the Rangers, as good as they've played this season, that they have to be a 5 seed and not get the home ice in the first round. There are some games left here, but a lot of them are on the road, and some tough games too. At the Devils, you're in Buffalo. You're in Washington. And I know some of those teams, like you're in Buffalo, you're in Washington, you're in St. Louis, you're in Columbus. I know some of those teams aren't playoff teams, but they're still tough teams. And the fact, too, that you finish up with Toronto, that would be interesting. That last game of the season, they're tied. There's a 1 point separation. How big that would be. So that's just going to be so interesting. And hey, I might need to, call my Canadian friends, see if they can hook us up in Toronto there to go to, some of these playoff games, though.
I would do anything for that, dude.
Yeah.
Anything.
Because you haven't been to a playoff hockey game, right?
Never.
And we looked up last year. I mean, we're even first round. I mean, is it 3 and change for 400 section?
Yeah, it's over, dude. It's crazy. But,
go
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say how interesting it is because we're talking about, like the playoff picture here. 5 teams in the Eastern Conference have clinched playoff spots, and I mean, no teams in the West have yet.
That is actually nuts.
Which is really crazy.
Yeah.
No one's clinched divisions. Boston is the only team that clinched the division right now, but it's like, I mean, it's so crazy to think about. Again, we talk about how much better the Eastern Conference is. But like the Western Conference is still just so much of a toss-up. Everything's so much up in the air there. It's going to be a pretty crazy playoffs, and I'm super stoked just talking about it.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
Yeah, and I was talking to Mike and Terry about this, in Austin, and they were kind of had the thought process, which makes sense that the East is going to beat each other up. By the time that team from the West, depending on who they are, what type of road they have to the Stanley Cup Finals, that they might be a little tired out. Which is definitely true. And then I was gonna mention too when we were doing the that how we talk about how like the Rangers have become kind of corporate, especially those lower 100 level seats. I mean, they're just not affordable for the average person. And they were saying the same thing actually. With the Canucks, with the Flames, that the tickets are just so expensive, and especially the Canucks specifically, that it's become like a status thing. And it's like these are guys in suits, which is what we've talked about with the Rangers
bullshit
too. It's not the true diehard fan, and it's just one of those things. You think about average ticket prices, but then you think about the amount of games and the fact too, when we're comparing to Major League Baseball, there's less capacity, less games, and then less revenue from TV. I think that's why we see those ticket prices so high.
Yeah, dude. And again, I think also it's that willingness. It's that like MSG doesn't care who's in the seats, Sure, like this business wants to pay thousands of dollars for a row of seats for whoever their clients are or something. Sure. Do it.
Yeah. It definitely is tough, but one of these days we're going to have our own suite at Madison Square Garden. That is going to be something.
It's going to be sweet, dude.
I mean, could you just imagine like if we really have a seasoned suite? I mean, I feel like we're almost allowed to go to half of the home games.
You're kidding me? Go to every single one, Brian.
It really is ridiculous, but it kind of like, obviously there's going to be stuff where we're going to have to hit the road, but like when we're home base, I mean, these games are at 7:00. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a lock. Like, we'll just schedule stuff earlier in the day, get to Madison Square Garden right before puck drop. You can't beat that.
I mean, with you on the scheduling there, I mean, how can we not make it work?
It's me like trying to find you some time to watch some golf over the weekend,
Dude, it's tough over the weekend, man.
But full slate tonight, and we did kind of mention quickly yesterday about the Rangers hosting the Blue Jackets here. So this is a game obviously that you have circled where there's really no excuse not to win it. And looking at the other games from tonight, Maple Leafs aren't playing, so it would be big. Because I always get confused about this. So if a win is 2 points and then just an overtime loss is 1, that's the only.
Yeah.
Okay. So
if you go to overtime, you get at least a point.
But you still get the full 2 if you win, obviously.
Correct.
So a Ranger win, Tony, and they slide into that 4 seed.
Oh yeah, buddy.
So I think that's just so important, and I think it's like, and I know you can't look at this, you can't take opponents for granted and just think you're gonna just do whatever you want. But at the same time, I do honestly see this as a good opportunity to maybe try a couple different line combinations or just try a couple different things, kind of focus. And one thing I would like to see is really kind of center point Patrick Kane. Like, let's really get him going. I know he's had a couple goals here and there, but I think it would be a good idea in this one to make it a vocal point to really get Patrick Kane involved, because he has that playoff experience. And, I mean, that we just thought about it as just him impacting, just on a, performance basis. But I feel like we've kind of haven't really thought about what he'll bring come playoff time. I don't think you could put value on the experience, and especially winning not 1, not 2, but 3 Stanley Cups.
Yeah. And, not only winning those cups, but being the guy on the team. It was basically, I mean, you could argue he was more important. Jonathan Taves was the captain, but it was 1A, 1B with them in Chicago. And they had just had a phenomenal crew around them. I think at the time, Brendan Saad, Corey Crawford was in net for them as well. So, I mean, that's kind of what, Kane has surrounded by him now with the Rangers, and arguably you could argue, a better team here. So I think really there is no, I mean, the ceiling is as high as really he wants to go. I would agree. Let's try and give these guys some more leash in terms of what their roles were. Again, I was kind of, super hyper focusing on when Patty Kane came over, for people to know their roles and stick to them. Like you said, Brian, I think this could be a good opportunity to kind of, give guys more of a chance to be more creative, let them just skate around on the ice and see what they can do, see what they see on the ice. And I would imagine that's what they've been doing. I would hope that's what they've been doing in practice, leading up to this game. I mean, I understand, like you were saying, Brian, I mean, excuse me.
Bless you.
Home ice is in the balance here for a playoff series, so that's important. So you still want to get the W here. It's against the Blue Jackets, a team that's, out of it, dude. They can't make the playoffs. Their season's done. Abysmal season. Michael Hutchinson is in between the pipes for them tonight. 33-year-old, I think, from Ontario.
Journeyman. Kincaid type.
Yeah. Basically, dude. I think he has like a 4. I almost said ERA. 4 goals against. Yeah, 4.2 goals against. 874 save percentage. 1-2-1 in the season. So only 4 starts. Which is pretty crazy. I mean, there's no way. I was looking at the games that he's played. I mean, I think he won 1 against the Islanders, but it was a 5-4 win where he still gave up 4 goals. Other than that, it was like 7-2 losses. So, I mean, a goaltender who should really have an issue trying to track down pucks, getting shot at him by the Rangers. So, if we're going into our picks, I'm picking the Rangers right now, dude. 5-0.
Oh yeah,
5-0.
And who are the goal scorers?
Hedl with 1 for sure. Give me Kakko with the other. Guess give me Kane, Kreider with the other 2, and then I would say Goudreau with the 5th goal.
Wow,
4th line, get him out there.
It's funny when you said that for a second. I was like, hey, boy, you must be really tired. You think Johnny Gaudreau's on the Rangers, but then obviously Barclay Goudreau. Like, it took a second. That's all I'm saying. It took a second.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I'm all all about that, and I really want to see them, get this 4 spot, and I mean, you never know. I mean, we talk about foot off the pedal and stuff. I mean, there is an outside opportunity if the Rangers really just run out this season and win 90% of these games, that they could actually get the 3 seed, which would be great. The Devils, they're clinch, maybe they want to rest some guys. Who knows?
Would you really want to play the Lightning though in the first round?
Actually, that is very true. And then, like our Canadian friend said, Toronto, you want to play Toronto. So I guess, hey, we want to play Toronto. So
I'll take Toronto.
I definitely see the value in that. So yeah, let's see in terms of what I'm thinking here. There obviously is a lot of different ways to go, and we do have is it a 4 night or is it a 3 night? Oh, it is a 4 night. Okay. So we can go 4 picks. Give you a shot, Tony, here to make your comeback. We've seen it. We've seen it before.
We have seen it before.
So
what do you got, dude?
No, I was thinking about something, but I'll just wait for that.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I was gonna say. But anyway, you just give me the Bruins at home. I mean, I don't like the Predators in Boston. 33-3 at home. So really not having any trouble in that regard. But we talk about like foot off the pedal. It is interesting. I mean, they definitely have number one locked up, right? I mean, there's no way that it's not possible.
It's not.
So I think, but I think hockey is different than other sports where, there's not that much of like, oh, last 10 games will barely play our stars. I don't think it works like that. That's not, how these guys are wired. So at home, you got Pastrnak closing in on 100 points. I think he gets it tonight. 2 goals and an assist. And I want to say Boston here easily handles the Predators. Let's call it 4-1 over Nashville.
Love it, dude. My next pick, I'm going to take the Kings here in Calgary. I mean, I know Calgary's favorited. It's pretty interesting because, I think the Kings are on a 3-game win streak right now. Yeah, they're in Calgary, but I just think that they're a better team in general. Calgary, look at the last 5 games. They beat San Jose. They beat Anaheim. They lost to LA earlier this month, 8-2. They lost to Dallas. They lost to Vegas. It feels like as of right now, I don't know. I just feel like LA's on a better roll here. They're scoring 19 goals in their past 3 games. So obviously they've been scoring a lot. And I just think in between the pipes, I should double check here if it's Korpisalo, who still has decent numbers. Looking at his numbers, 2.94 goals against on average, 915 save percentage, 15, 11, and 4. So a decent look at goaltending for the Kings as well. So I just think give me LA again, who just beat Calgary 8-2. Probably not that much of a landslide because when you look at the box score of that game, obviously Calgary not scoring much, but you had a 2-goal nights from Kemp, from Grundstrom, which isn't exactly, I guess, typical of those guys, but still, give me the LA Kings 4-1.
Love it.
Yeah, me too, dude.
So I'm gonna take a stab at this Carolina Tampa Bay game.
Really, dude? Who
Lightning have been on a tough stretch here. Losers of 4 in a row. Carolina's lost 2 out of 3. But 2 of those losses, the losses were against Boston and New York, and then obviously they won, of course, against Toronto. So I know it's been difficult. The injuries to Ranta, obviously Sevi being out for the year. The Hurricanes, the last time they played back on March 5th, won 6-0. So this is the final game. They're going for the season sweep, 1-4-3 back in 11-3.
Wow.
So I think why not complete the sweep? And they're really looking to solidify their place here in the Eastern Conference and just going with some momentum. They've been great at home, 25-9-3. So the Lightning under 500 at home, 17-19. So showing the dominance at home, struggling on the road. I think that narrative continues. So give me the Hurricanes here. I'm going to say 3-1 over Tampa.
My next pick here, just double checking who is starting. Give me Casey DeSmith and the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. We're just talking about them. They're playing the Red Wings. Alex Nedeljkovic over there for Detroit is starting, not Ville Husso. So give me the Penguins here. We talk about the 3-headed monster, plus Raquel has been doing great. Gensel too, of the Penguins. And I feel Casey DeSmith, looking to kind of prove himself a little bit more here. We saw him a little bit in the last year in the playoffs. Decent season so far this year. But Pittsburgh also trying to get some momentum going into the playoffs, being that last seed who will have a tough series against the Boston Bruins. I think this is something where Pittsburgh says, hey, man, I know we're the last seed, but we can still be dominant. We know how to play in the playoffs. They destroy the Red Wings. I'll say 6-1.
Percent that they beat Boston in the first round.
I'll give them maybe like a 39.
As an 8 seed at 39%, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Shows the value of experience plus love average. Yeah. Is it 5 years, 6 years in a row with the first round exit?
For Pittsburgh?
Yeah. I feel like it's 5.
I feel like it's 5 too. I think we just talked about that, right?
It's just crazy how stuff like that, it just changes. They're in the finals every year, and then all of a sudden you look at it and you're staring that in the face. Something that I've tried, Tony, many times. I want to say I probably am 0-4 in this scenario. I don't know what the losing streak is at currently, but the Sharks are still looking for number 20. Erik Karlsson has a chance to get 100 points. He's sitting on 90. And I think he's going to get a couple more points tonight. Give him a goal and an assist. The Sharks only 6-20 at home this year. 10 overtime losses, which is crazy. But as they gear up for the number 1 pick, they'll say, you know what, we still want to win 20 games. Let's win it now. So I'm going to say the Sharks in a nail biter in overtime. Carlson, the game winner. 2-1 Sharks over the Jets.
They're on a 9-game losing streak.
And I feel like they lost like 8 in a row before that with 1 win in between.
Literally.
Fourth and final.
Fourth and final here. It's funny. I was actually going to pick Winnipeg here.
So you're thrown off a little bit.
I am thrown off a little bit. So just looking at the rest of the games here, we have Oilers at Golden Knights. Edmonton's favored at -120. Let's just double check who's in between the pipes here because I like this game. I like the underdog. Give me Koshtikov, by the way, for the Hurricanes in there. Keep an eye
Choker
on
is definitely
that,
excited
dude.
about that.
Oh, yeah, he should be. Jonathan Quick unconfirmed for the Knights against Stuart Skinner, dude. That is tough. I mean, you look at the battles that these two teams have had. Every game these two teams have played 3 times this year. Each game ended in a 4-3 final. 2 of them were in overtime. Oilers won twice. Golden Knights won once. And I say the Knights are going to win again tonight as they split the season series here with Edmonton at home in Vegas. I know I'm probably not that good with picking against the Oilers this season, but I don't care. Give me a Jack Eichel hat trick saying, hey, man, I've been a little quiet. I'm over here on the West Coast. Hat trick, going to the playoffs. I'm going to show Buffalo what they should have had.
So hanging in the balance for me, I just want to confirm this. Blackhawks, Stars, Canadians, Flyers, Canucks, Blues?
Yeah.
I didn't realize there's 11
games?
Wow. That's a lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, 10. So there's 2. So one of those you picked.
Stars, Blackhawks, no.
Canadians, Flyers.
No.
And Canucks, Blues.
No, am I counting wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I picked 4. You picked 3.
Oh, right. That's why. Okay, I got you.
7.
My mistake, Tony.
Yeah, it's okay.
But anyway.
You're stalling.
You're deflecting.
You're deflecting.
Give me the Flyers. Torts is riled, -170. Everyone's scoffing at the notion that they could be -170. Hayes,
really?
5 goals. How about that, Tony? 5 goals. Louis does not make it on the tarmac back to Canada.
Oh my gosh.
And it's going to be 7-1 Flyers over the Montreal Canadiens, dude.
I don't know, dude.
It seems crazy. I get it.
It does. Oh, Flyers are on a 3-game winning streak right now, though.
Yeah, that's why they're -170, I guess. One thing I was going to ask you, and we were talking Rangers, and then you think about one other thing, and then you lose your train of thought. And we touched on this a little bit, the whole Hughes Kako situation. I feel like there's a part of you that isn't as tough on him as, let's say, other people. You still see the value in him, and you don't see bust for what? Second, was it first overall pick?
Yeah,
first overall pick. I mean, I'm just kind of curious, your mindset with Kako and your expectations going forward.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think again, when you compare him to Hughes, it's just an entirely different, I think, atmosphere that he went into, an entirely different role. Kaapo Kakko was, yes, drafted to be a star, of course. He's the first pick of the draft, but young talent in the league is so tough, especially for a team like the Rangers. When he came in, they were looking to win immediately. It's not like they were really necessarily in a rebuild yet. Nothing was really stated. The Devils had been piss poor for a while. They get Hughes. They're like, hey, man, we're going to build a team around you.
Mm-hmm.
Kakko was brought into a team that was kind of already built, then went through a rebuild. A few guys left. They kept a couple guys. They dumped a lot of guys. So, I mean, think about the adjustment period like that, as opposed to just being brought onto a team and then having your team built around you, that person, So, I mean, you got to look at the I guess the circumstances that both players came into the league with. Of course, again, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. Jack Hughes, I would rather have him than Kako right now. I mean, Hughes is way better. He's a guy he's going to be the leader. He's certainly, a future leader of a team. He's someone who could, not only lead on the ice, but off the ice, mentally, rally a team, change the course of a game, just like himself alone. We haven't seen exactly that from Kaapo Kakko. But again, I just think that there's so much more room for growth with Kakko, especially with, the line he's paired up with Hito and Lafreniere. The three of them, all three of them growing together. Like it's really impressive to see that. Yes, you have to be patient, but look what happened last season in the postseason. Look what's happening right now with that line. And then, to boot, you have three other lines that are so incredibly dangerous right now for the Rangers. It's not like we need Kakko to be ridiculously good right now. Like, he is going to be really good. Yes, give him some time, and I think this playoff is going to show a lot of what he could do and what that line could do together too. So
yeah, absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he can really change the narrative pretty quickly. If he were to have a strong postseason and be a catalyst in a Rangers deep run, a Rangers championship. I think it's just, it's tough not to look at stats, but obviously everything that you just explained makes sense. He's not the center, of the Rangers. He's a supporting player. So the results are going to be different. Obviously, he's still 22 years old.
Right.
So there is time. But yeah, it's just kind of an interesting debate. And I think there's really both sides to it.
Yeah. And I know, yesterday I mentioned like time on the ice and everything, so far, Jack Hughes gets 5 more minutes of ice time per game.
Yeah. So that makes a big difference.
So it does make a big difference. And from what, who Jack Hughes is paired up with too, I mean, it does make a difference. Yes. Like looking at his stats so far, 36 points compared to Jack Hughes is what, like 80 something?
Right.
86 points. I mean, yeah, like you would really certainly enjoy having Jack Hughes. But I don't know. We'll see. Again, you're always hopeful. At some point, sooner rather than later, I will be getting impatient with him. If he has a shitty postseason, it could be close to a bust for him, which does suck because you picked him high, especially when you think of Lafreniere as well. I mean, I think Lafreniere was maybe the second overall or the first overall.
I want to say second. If
I want to say second too. Lafreniere, interesting. This is not Lafreniere. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
It said like a guy from New Jersey on the Kings. Like, what? First overall, wow, yeah, he was. I know.
What are the chances of them get?
I know, total bust. I mean,
like, just not one of them could be a star.
I wouldn't say total bust, but 34 points in the season this year isn't great.
Last year, he had the better year last year, but then this year they're kind of even.
Yeah, they're kind of even, I guess.
He had like 20 goals, right? Last year or no? 19 goals.
19 goals. No, he has 19 goals this season.
No, 15 goals this season.
Oh, sorry, I was going to assist. 19 goals last season. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, again, like same deal, 15 minutes of ice time there for him too. It's that third line,
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's tough. It's tough, but again, I think that kid line's going to grow together. And it's going to, again, think about like those three players are playing at the same time all the time. And if they're growing together and then all of a sudden, they start having breakout seasons at the same time. I mean, a third line going up against, 3 breakout stars. I mean, that's gonna be hard to deal with. Dude.
Yeah. And Hedl definitely has had a nice year for sure.
Oh, yeah,
goals coming in bunches like many of the other Rangers, but definitely something to be excited about. And just in general, I mean, there's so much to be excited about. Obviously, I told you about the rest of my day, with the show, the fantasy draft. But obviously, and then tomorrow is going to be a great day too, because we'll do our award predictions. Obviously our AL, NL champions and our World Series champions. So it's always fun to make those predictions, write them down, see, if there's anything that can be hit right on the head. I would imagine though that we are pretty strong in that area. Given our baseball knowledge, Tony. And I do believe, speaking of stuff coming up that's exciting, I believe there's an exciting episode of Screen Time coming up.
Dude, very exciting episode of Screen Time coming up. Manny and I in studio. I believe Jay's calling in too. We're going to be recapping some things we watched. We watched this movie called Falling Down, old movie from the 90s we wanted to watch. Talk about that. The new episode of Mandalorian. From last week. Mandalorian, dude. It's getting better, dude. Slow start to this season.
Favreau slacking a little bit.
Yeah, he tried to do this thing where like 2 years gone by between each season.
Hate that.
And it's just like, like again, you try, like you can't just like, oh, 2 years, he didn't say just 2 years later or something like that, so you we kind of figure that out, which is kind of annoying. Other than that, dude, new trailer for Elemental, Disney Pixar movie. How do you feel about Pixar?
Yeah, it's tough for me. I don't know, and I don't mean to, like call anybody out who likes. I don't know. Am I even describing it right? But like, it's basically a cartoon movie, right?
Yeah, animated,
okay.
Yeah,
like I don't know. Maybe, and I'm just one track mind, but I always just thought that stuff is like, for like the kids, like, you know what I mean. So that's why I never really like paid attention.
I feel like Sam would be good into like Pixar. No?
I think like it depends what it is. There was something I forgot what she. Yeah, like. Occasionally, but she's not too. It is, and obviously it makes sense. But she definitely is similar to me with like taste with movies. Like, sure, she likes something funny, but she'll watch YouTube videos, think like TikToks are funny, but she's not, Farrell and Carrie. She's not that Tony. So I mean, she definitely, has some good taste in that department.
Okay, that's good, dude. So great episodes can come up at noon. Hold the phone here. Don't go anywhere.
Michael calling in, stopping in.
I think Michael should be here by that time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And then I also forgot to mention tomorrow as well, we will be previewing the Valero Texas Open, the warm-up for Augusta National.
Oh, boy.
It really here we go, Michael. Haha, love you guys. Best show. So coming in hot,
there it is
at the buzzer, but he's excited, of course. And geez, this is one of those times, Tony. We were talking about something. Right. Valero Texas Open. I was gonna say the Masters is really like no other with the broadcast presentation, like hearing those like birds chirping in the background and the way that the guy's talking. I know golf is always a different broadcast than anything else, but the way that they're like, welcome to Augusta. Like it's like, oh man, is that funny? Is that good stuff? Do you think, honestly, Tony, in all seriousness, because I know, of course, over the years you haven't watched that much golf, but do you think you would enjoy being in the booth with Nance?
Yeah, dude. Of course.
Like they definitely have a great time.
Yeah. Oh my God, are you kidding me? He's probably so. I mean, he's done so many different tournaments. Probably so laid back, and it's just like,
And it's kind of interesting, too. Like, you think about him going to a reduced schedule. Of course, he's going to stick with the NFL. But the fact that he's removing something and he chooses to remove March Madness, not the Masters. You think about Vern Lundquist, who was always huge doing college football. He sticks that the only announcing he does is the 18th tower at Augusta. And it's just like, there's just nothing like golf.
Yeah.
Really. So that's really, really good stuff. I'm so excited for the Masters. The beauty of that course, the job that they do, the preparation, the scenery. They're constantly, reinventing the wheel over there. Slight changes here and there, but it's just so impressive to see. And it's just so nice too, because originally the Masters was always very tough to get footage. Like they would basically say, we're not going to film every shot of the tournament.
Really?
But now, you have CBS, getting you through the weekend, but Thursday and Friday coverage all on, the ESPN family of networks between ESPN Plus, the ESPN app, and then ESPN. So you got Van Pelt, you get former U.S. Open champion Andy North. So it's definitely just a really, really good time, and I can't wait for that. So just as we say, it, Matthew knows it, Michael knows it. What a time of year. So, other than that, I just really appreciate, everybody tuning in, that they continue to comment, like, and subscribe, spreading the word. You love just seeing, the audience grow and just reaching so many different people. That's what it's all about. And we really enjoy doing that day in and day out. And of course, definitely check out the merch at downtimetv.com. Spring is in the air, Tony.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
And we really want everybody to enjoy their day, enjoy screen time. Let's go Rangers, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.